Dieterich. Welcome to Xinhua News Agency.
Thank you very much.
It's a great honor to have you with us. May the 5th of this year marks the 200th birth anniversary of Karl Marx. So people around the world are continuing commemorating this anniversary. So why his theory is still vigorous today?
Why are people still celebrating the birthday of Albert Einstein or Charles Darwin or Isaac Newton? It's the same reason, because all of these people, geniuses, developed a new scientific model which interpreted the world much better than anything you had before. So it is absolutely rational and legitimate that they say Karl Marx is on the same level as Albert Einstein in physics, or Charles Darwin in biology, or Isaac Newton in classical physics.
What is his biggest contribution to human knowledge?
His biggest contribution is that he understood what are the factors, the variables, the powers that move a society. How does a society develop? Who controls it? What do you have to do to change it, to transform it? So, like Newton told you how the solar system moves, the sun, the moon, and so on, is Charles Darwin told you why certain biological systems are more complex than others. So Marx and Engels told us why a society develops and moves in a certain direction. Who moves it? The social classes. Why do they move it? Because they fight for the economic surplus. And what can you do that it becomes a society for the people and not for the dominant classes? That was their great contribution.
So, as you said, I think Marxism is kind of a scientific theory to the human society, right?
It is.
Yes.
But it has, Miranda, it has another aspect. It is first-class science, the best science we have, but it is also a value system, human rights and democracy. So you have a very good scientific theory, scientific socialism, and you have a very good ethical and moral program. What does it say? It says you need excellent science and you need excellent morals and a commitment to the people if you want to change things for the better.
He used to talk about the freedom of the human society, using the international communism, which he developed and he created the ideas. But actually in the Western world, some of the capitalism country, they always using those kind of democracy ideas. So how do you explain this?
You have democracy in capitalism, which is bourgeois democracy. And you understand that with Donald Trump. Donald Trump lost the election because Hillary Clinton had 2 million more votes. But he won the presidency because the system is not democratic. Secondly, those who have the money win the election. So democracy today in the West is degenerating, it's going down. And nobody believes that it will get better. So it is controlled by the rich, by, as Bernie Sanders said in the election campaign, the billionaire class decides what democracy is, and so on. When Fukuyama said the end of history, when the Soviet Union collapsed, and he said the last phase of history is the market economy and elections and political parties. And he was wrong. People are looking for a solution. They believed that bourgeois democracy, parliamentary democracy, and market economy was the answer to all problems. And that was what Fukuyama said when the Soviet Union collapsed. He said, this is the answer. But now, 20 years later, everybody sees that it is not the answer, because it is more war in Syria, more aggression in Eastern Europe,
Yes.
the war on international trade.
So do you think that the Marxism, with its famous Das Kapital, can offer a solution to today's issue?
Marxism and Engels, and I would say also Lenin, have one basic platform. That is, people have the right to live in democracy, self-determination, a good quality of life, a free education, and so on, and so on. Instead of trying to fix the problem in the United States, they are trying to make other countries pay, because they say, we have the financial and military power to make you pay our problems. And Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, he said it in a very precise way. He said to the United States elite, nobody steals your job, because Trump says, oh, everybody rips us off and steals our job. And that, of course, is totally stupid to say. And Jack Ma said, nobody steals your job. You are spending all your money on wars which you never win, you always lose. But you always spend the money. And why don't you build streets and bridges and universities? And if you do that, then you will have no import-export problems. So fix your problems and don't blame the others for what is your fault, because you spend $700 billion a year on weapons and wars.
Top number one in the world.
Top number one, and more than the following 10 big countries together. And the United States does not have the money and the wealth to keep doing that. It is over.
Yeah.
But they do not cut the military budget and invest in internal development because they say it's better for us, we'll go to war and use our military to lower the oil price, to lower the value of the yuan, of the renminbi, and so on and so on. So instead of fixing their problem, which is their fault, they try to force other nations to change their way of doing things and save the US interests. And that is absurd. That will not work.
Okay, one last question. Talking about Marxism, Marxism is adopted and developed in countries and combined with their own national conditions. What do you think of this new development of Marxism?
I think there's only one new development really that is in China, and partially in certain areas of Western science, especially in Great Britain and in Germany. And for example, I coordinate a World Advanced Research Project, WARP it is called, with scientists from computer science, economists, mathematics, and so on, because the new advancements in technology, like the 5G internet or quantum computers, they permit a new digital communism, which is different to what you had with Lenin and Mao and in the Soviet Union. With the technology that we are implementing now, I think we can have a perfectly communist society where there are no poor people, no rich people, and the state organizes things through the new technologies. So I think for the first time in history now, we have the logistics, the technological basis for a planned democratic society in the economy and in the electoral systems and so on. And I think that Dieterich, who is a great thinker and a great dialectic thinker, who understands the interaction between theory and praxis, understands that you need a new form of socialism today, which he calls socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new global era. But he understands that the theory, even when it is scientific theory, must develop together with the changes in the social and natural environment. So it's a question of democracy. Who governs a society? The majorities or small elites, political or capitalist or military or whatever. And the position of Marx was that the people, it must be a people's democracy, and the people must decide, which Marx thought of 200 years ago.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.